Now, one of the things I learned, I actually got some training at the Center for Creative Leadership in Greensboro, North Carolina. And the program was called the Looking Glass Experience. I went through the program to quote unquote get fixed by my boss's boss. Went through the program, took a bunch of assessments. It's a leadership experiential learning thing where you're going with 21 executives. Everybody takes a role. You play the role out in a day, and then you debrief. But what happens is when you're playing that role, 9 times out of 10, you act the way you behave at work. So if you're used to yelling at people and screaming at people, that'll come out in the simulation. If you're used to cowering down, whatever your behaviors are, how you impact others, how you impact the organization will come out in this simulation. And then you have a facilitator who's looking at a division, 7 people, writing notes the whole time. Okay, so you spend the week debriefing those activities. It's the most accurate and timely feedback that I've ever gotten in my life. So at the end of the week-long session, your facilitator asks you one question. What are you going to do? What do you need to do? What's the most important thing you need to do to become a better leader? 99% of the time, what they would say is, I need to work on my work-life balance. They would say things like, I'm on my 3rd wife and she just filed for divorce. They say things like, I've got 2 kids, one's on drugs and the other one doesn't know me. They say things like, I'm 60 pounds overweight and I just had my 3rd stent put in. Those were the things that high-powered executives were saying in all different walks of life. So I learned through that experience, and I had an opportunity to facilitate probably 15 of those over an 8-year period. That's 21 people times 15. It's a lot of people. So that was a pretty good data source, and that's what I saw. So what I learned was everybody's got issues just like I got issues. I don't care how much money you have. I don't care how much stuff you have. I don't care how much education you have. Everybody's got issues. And the work-life balance piece is a huge one. So I had an opportunity to do a session with some entrepreneurs about 2 years ago, startup ages 19 to 35. So I was telling my daughter, who's 30 years old, that I was going to talk about the work-life balance. She says, Dad, we don't call it work-life balance. We call it self-care. I said, okay. So I go into this meeting, this facilitation of this session, kind of skeptical. So I talk about work-life balance. And then this 21-year-old raises her hand. Her name was Ming. And she says, can I tell my story? I said, sure. How much time do you need? She said, well, how much time are you going to give me? I said, take 15 minutes. So she told her story, and her story was this. She was an entrepreneur. Again, she's only 21 years old. She's an entrepreneur, right? She almost killed herself working every day, day in and day out. And her body just shut down. Okay, so it's not only with executives, it's with young people, because they come out of the womb now with a phone and their minds never rest. If you haven't seen the movie on Netflix called Social Dilemma, if you haven't seen that, you need to see it. It is scary. It is scary and so true. So the work-life balance is a huge issue with a lot of different people.